Yep, I hear you.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Warner Brothers Discovery did to Batgirl. Yeah, not going to see Brendan Fraser as Firefly, and that's kind of annoying. But anyway, welcome back. Flat Earth Debate. Talk about the shape of our planet. Why not? 2022. Nothing better to do. Joining me tonight, we have someone who's been on the channel a couple of times, and he's back and he has some questions for me. So, Dave, welcome back to the channel. How are you doing? Dave? You were there just now, Dave. Oh, you've muted yourself, Dave. You need to unmute yourself. There we go.
What about now?
Yep, we can hear you. Just stay nice and close to the mic for me.
All right.
How you doing, Dave?
I'm good, Craig. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, no worries. Is that as close to the mic as you can get?
Okay.
Yeah, it just does sound like you're a bit far away from the actual mic on your phone there. Right, so you've got some questions for me, basically. You said you wanted me to get some videos up and talk about them, so let's get on with it. What's your questions?
Well, last time we spoke, you told me there was no triangle with celestial navigation. Is that correct?
No, there's no triangles with celestial navigation. That's correct.
I got numerous citations right here that prove you wrong, Craig.
Of actual celestial navigation?
Correct.
Okay, so could you show me those citations then?
I mean, I've got them written down right here. Carol Jacobi, Navigation, Chapter 6, Sexton. Quote, point overhead of the center. The angle drawn between lines drawn to the horizon and center is 90 degrees or the left side.
Sorry, you're gonna have to speak up, dude. It sounds like you're really quiet. I'm struggling to hear you. Like, could you hold your phone up to your face, maybe? Are you using like a headset or something on it?
No.
Is there something covering your mic on your phone?
No, I don't know what's going on.
'Cause it sounds like the mic's scraping against something.
How about now, Craig?
That's better. That was better. But now, you there? You mute. Oh.
Every time I put the damn thing up in my ear, it mutes it.
Sorry.
Can you hear me, Craig?
That's better, yeah. Yeah, try and keep it like that.
All right. Carol Jacoby, Navigation, Chapter 6, the Sexton. The point overhead is the zenith. The angle drawn between lines drawn to horizon and zenith is 90 degrees or a right triangle.
What was that? 90 degrees zenith to what, sorry?
Point overhead is the zenith.
Yep.
Drawn to the horizon, and the zenith is 90 degrees or a right triangle.
Well, there's a 90 degrees between you and the zenith, yeah, but that's just having a 90 degrees doesn't make a triangle. No, that's not how that works.
Specifically say or a right triangle. All right, well, we got GPS and GNS.
GPS isn't celestial navigation. Dave?
Fucking gotcha. Can you hear me now, Chris?
Yeah, you keep muting yourself for some reason.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully you can hear me without. Every time I put my cheek up, so it's got this big red thing, this thing there.
Yeah.
All right. GPS and GNS technology in geosciences, like George Petro, I can't say his last name. Celestial navigation is based on the triangulation in which celestial bodies are used as reference points. Then you got, you can go to Periscope Films on YouTube, Air Force training video for the Sexton. And you got, they have it right on there as well. There's numerous ones that specifically say that right triangles are used, right?
Yeah, there's right angles, but not right triangles, because right triangles would indicate a known distance to all the celestial bodies that you're using, right? So if you're saying there's a right triangle between what you're looking at your zenith and the horizon, that means that 100% the distance to the object at your zenith. That's the only way that you could have a triangle, is by knowing the distance of two of the sides. Do we have that information available?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, do we have that information available?
Sorry?
Do we have the information to get a triangle from what you've said? From what you said, zenith 90 degrees, zenith right directly overhead 90 degrees, and then looking at the horizon, yeah. Once you've done all your corrections, then you get that 90 degrees right between your zenith and your vertical. That's what because it's not 90 degrees when you first use the sextant to sight the horizon, because you're above the horizon, right? So you have to do all the corrections to get that 90 degrees, but there's still no triangle because you don't have the distance of two of the sides. You've just got a 90 degrees, not an actual triangle.
I read you a quote straight from the book. The book is Navigation by Carol Jacoby, Chapter 6, the Sexton. And they specifically, I did my right here.
Sorry, again, you're being really quite quiet, dude.
Yeah, like I said, I read you a quote straight from the book, and it specifically says it's 90 degrees or a right triangle. I mean, I'm not making it up.
Okay, well, I don't know what book that specifically is, but there is no triangles. You have nothing to make a triangle with. You can't just say there's a right triangle when you don't have at least two of the sides to be able to solve the triangle. That's literally not how triangles work.
Well,
I'm confused as to why it would say what it said when it didn't describe a triangle.
Sure. Sure it does. When you have U to the horizon to your, I mean, from the zenith to the horizon to the GP would be 90 degrees.
Yeah, okay,
Or
that's 90 degrees, but where's the sides of the triangle? Do you know, right, for a triangle, you have to have the distance of the sides, right? So do you know the distance from you to the object at your zenith? Do you have that distance?
If you have 90 degrees, you automatically have a right triangle.
No, you don't. You have a right angle, not a right triangle. A triangle requires the distance of two sides. A triangle is three sides, right, Dave?
Correct.
Okay. So where's the three sides? What information have we got that gives us the measurements of those three sides to say it's a triangle?
From you to the horizon, and straight up overhead.
Okay, so
your 90, like you said.
But it doesn't give you your 90. You only get your 90 once you've done all of the corrections.
What corrections is that?
Well, your index corrections for your sextant, your refraction corrections, your dip corrections. All the corrections.
There is no dip.
Apart from in celestial navigation, you literally have to apply dip correction. It's part of the process.
It's height. That's really height of eye.
No, there's two types of dip corrections that you use. Either dip correction or dip short of the horizon, depending on if you're using a bubble sextant or not. But it's not sight of eye. It is the dip correction that brings you down to the vertical so that you have that straight baseline, as it were.
Right, but that straight baseline is flat.
Yeah, it's also an imaginary line.
No, okay, but...
Okay, it is an imaginary line. As Nathan Oakley likes to quote all the time, the line from the observer to the horizon is an imaginary line. And I don't know why you would think that imaginary line can't be flat, because it's an imaginary line. But again, you only get that 90, Dave, once you have applied all the corrections to your original sighting of the horizon, right? But after that, you've got the 90 degrees, but there's still no triangle. You've just got a 90-degree right angle.
You can't get a 90-degree.
Did you just say that again?
You cannot have 90 degrees with a curved baseline at your feet.
Again, you have applied all the corrections to get that 90 degrees.
What are you correcting it to, Craig?
To the vertical.
You're correcting it to flat.
Yeah, because you're making an imaginary line, yes. Imaginary, now, again.
But, all right, put yourself in a dinghy, in the water, okay? You're not making any corrections. You still got a flat baseline, Craig.
But you are making corrections because you're not at the water level when you take the sextant sighting. So you have to provide dip corrections to bring the sextant down to what is completely vertical. But having a vertical off of your zenith, that's your vertical, all right? That's your zenith there, up and down. Having a horizontal off of that isn't a problem, all right? You don't have to have a flat baseline. The baseline, the surface can be whatever you want it to be. But to get that horizontal, you don't need anything else other than the corrections to give you a horizontal based on your zenith.
Okay, you see how you have your arm for your flat baseline?
Yeah.
If you're sitting down in a raft on the ocean,
yeah,
you're not. Your sextant is right on the ocean.
No, it's not right on the ocean. You're still above the ocean a little bit. You're not holding the sextant right at the water level and taking the reading. You are always going to be slightly above the water when you take a sextant reading. That's why the dip correction is a vital part of doing celestial navigation.
I understand, but this is the thing. You're not getting any... Okay, so what dip correction are you doing if you're sitting down in a raft on the water?
Well, your sextant is still not going to be touching the water. The eye line of the sextant isn't going to be touching the water. It's still going to be slightly above the water. So you have to apply the dip correction so that it's taking into account the curve of the Earth, or it doesn't work. Even when it's just a few centimeters or whatever above the water, you still have to apply the dip correction based on the height above sea level.
Okay. So say you're 6 foot tall.
I'm
Okay.
6'1", but yeah.
Fine. Either or. And you got your sextant in your hand. You're gonna correct 6 foot for your height of eye.
If the horizon eye is exactly 6 foot off the ground, then you use that 6 foot and apply the dip corrections according to the nautical almanacs.
So you're correcting. It's flat. So you're going to traverse that flat baseline towards your horizon.
What's flat? Sorry.
That baseline from you to the horizon.
No, it's not flat. The baseline from you to the horizon is going to be a straight line downwards, isn't it? Because you're looking down at the horizon. Because your sextant reading is always above the sea level. Okay. Even if it's just a couple of centimeters, your reading that you take is above the sea level. So you have to apply the dip correction to take that into account because the Earth is curved.
Right, but you can't get 90 degrees with a curved surface. See, the thing
you
is
can if you apply the corrections to give you the horizontal.
You guys are dropping off, okay, 8 inches per mile squared.
No, we're not. That's not the right equation. I've tried to explain that a billion times, but no.
Okay.
Right? And you're right, the Earth is dropping off. There is a curve. That's why you have to apply the dip corrections so that the sextant reading is taking into account the curve of the Earth. That's the way it's done.
That's not what they show in the sextant manuals. You guys, they just...
No, it is what they show in the sextant manuals.
They shoot the horizon. They do the dip correction for your height of eye.
It's okay. Can you give me a citation that says dip correction is height of eye?
No, I can't. I can't. I'm on my phone. I can't do anything like that. You know that. I can't claim that. Obviously,
well, if you've got a video or something, then let's see it.
The hell? This sucks.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with your phone, Dave, but it honestly sounds like you're eating your microphone.
Sorry. You hear me at all, Craig?
Yeah, we can hear you, but it sounds like you've got your phone in your pocket or something and you're trying to talk to us through it.
I'm literally up in my face.
Right, okay. Tell you what, let me show you. Let me take you through a very basic page that I like to use to try and explain to flat earthers how you actually do celestial navigation with a sextant. Can you just? Right, let me just bring this up. That's what she said. Crystal catcher, display one. Okay. How to use a sextant, right? So finding the angle of elevation of angles talks about sighting the sextant at the horizon. To sight the horizon by looking at the scope, but obviously it's not talking about at sea here, so we get to the point where it's talking about at sea. So you've taken the measurement, right, and you've written down the angles, and you've recorded the time that you've made the reading, everything, so that you can check in the almanac, follow along. Then this talks about the index corrections, which is just correcting for any deviations in the sextant itself. So making corrections to your measurement. Adjust for index error. And then we've got correcting for dip to account for your distance above the sea level. Dip refers to the difference between your elevation and the actual level of the horizon. So you're not at the sea level. So you're always looking down, right? So to make this correction, multiply 1.7725 by the square root of your elevation, including the height of your eye in meters. Subtract this meter from your observed altitude, the reading you get in the sextant when you measure the elevation of an object. This the degrees in this formula. Wait, let me finish this. The degrees in this formula represents minutes, 60ths of a degree. It's a mathematical constant that represents a small fraction of a degree. So it gives you your altitude measurement. All right. And then the next thing to do is to do your refraction errors. Because once you've done the dip angle, it gives you your flat, your 90 degrees between your zenith and your horizontal. All right. Then you do your refraction errors. Okay. And this explains how to do your parallax errors and everything like that. And then you find your latitude. So your index error, your dip corrections, your refraction errors, semi-diameter of the sun based on the time of the day, your parallax measurements. And once you've got all of this, once you've got all these corrections, right, only then do you have your 90 degrees, right? Only then do you get your 90 degrees that you can, minus from the 90 to get your elevation angle. But all of it, the maths, everything relies on the Earth actually being a globe when you do the calculations to find out what you've got. There is no way to do celestial navigation with a right angle triangle. And we've asked flat earthers this constantly. If a right angle triangle is used, can you talk us through the steps of celestial navigation? So what do you think? You there? You're muted again. Sorry, we're using what?
You're using a flat plane.
No, we're not. We're creating a horizontal baseline by correcting it. And again, and this is an important point that you flat earthers seem to skip over all the time. The line between you and the horizon is an imaginary line. An imaginary line can be as flat as you want it to be. The line that you used for the sextant is not the surface of the Earth.
But you'll be traversing it because you can't get that 90, Craig, when you have...
that 90 is between you and the zenith above you. That's all the 90 is. And then you apply the corrections to your sextant reading, and you get a 90-degree angle that because you've got your horizontal from your zenith, all right? And that's an imaginary line. That line is imaginary, so it can be there. It doesn't, there's no reason you cannot have an imaginary line.
Yes, it's an imaginary line, but you're going to traverse that line.
No, you're not traversing that line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
All you're doing is you're finding your distance to a GP.
Okay, and like I said, are you going to do any correction if you're sitting in a dinghy?
Yes, you are. Yes. You would still have to do your index corrections, your dip corrections, your refraction corrections, your index corrections. You still have to do that. What? Sorry?
You're not going to do any dip correction if you're sitting your
ass
on a rack on the water.
The sextant is not at the water level. The sextant is not at sea level, Dave. You still have to do corrections.
With the sextant in your hands, Craig.
But you're still not at sea level. You're still going to be at least a few centimeters above sea level, aren't you, Dave? The eyepiece of the sextant is not in the water. It's above the water. Therefore, you have to do corrections. I don't know what you don't understand about that. It's part of celestial navigation. It's a fundamental part of the process. You do your dip correction. That's how it works.
If you just bear with me for 1 second, I'm trying to look for something real quick, if you don't mind.
Whenever you're ready.
If you're on the water, if it's a few centimeters above, okay, I don't know. Yeah. We're idiots over here in the U.S., so I don't know how much centimeters are compared to feet. So
you don't know what a centimeter is. Even if you're 1 inch above the water, you still have to apply dip corrections.
You're going to do a 1 inch dip correction for the sextant?
Yes, you are. That's a vital part of the sextant celestial navigation, is that you do your dip correction.
You can't get 90 degrees. You got a curved baseline, Craig.
Yeah, but a tangent isn't curved, is it?
You don't have a tangent.
Sorry?
You don't have a tangent.
Yeah, we do. It's a
No,
straight
you do not.
line to the globe is a tangent. And again, it's imaginary. The tangent is imaginary, so don't tell me that I can't have an imaginary tangent.
Okay, a tangent is a straight line to a geometric sphere edge.
No, it's just a straight line to a curve.
Straight line to a curve. Okay,
Yeah.
that curve must be geometric.
It just must be a curve.
Must be okay. It must have a curve. It has to be geometric.
Yeah, it's
You
a
don't
physical
have-
thing that exists, just like the horizon.
You don't have a geometric horizon.
We do. That's how we see the refracted version of it. You can't have something that's refracted if it's not there.
But we don't see it.
Yeah, okay, just because we don't see it doesn't mean we don't have it. Those are two different things, Dave.
Okay, but you're not. If you don't see it, then you don't have a straight line tangent to it.
That's exactly what the refraction correction's for, Dave.
Show me a citation that for terrestrial refraction in the section.
I just did showed you the citation for how to do celestial navigation, and it included refraction corrections.
No, refraction, not terrestrial 7/6R refraction.
No, refraction is refraction. Refraction is a thing that exists. And the Nautical Almanac for refraction corrections is a calibration tool that has been fine-tuned over centuries of use.
You're talking about astronomical refraction.
I'm just talking about refraction, Dave. Refraction that happens when light travels through the medium of the atmosphere. The refraction has been quantified and written down and fine-tuned over centuries and used by sailors. They know that if you are this distance above the water and something is this far away and the temperature is this and the pressure is this, the refraction's going to be this. Right? When they came up with the refraction tables, they didn't use the 7/6R or anything like that. They used, they tried it and tried it and tried it, and they were like, okay, so we were this far off, so we should correct this much based on refraction. Oh, what are the conditions right now? Oh, well, then that means that these conditions make this refraction. That refraction table for celestial navigation, that almanac, has been created over centuries of constant use by sailors fine-tuning it. It wasn't just made up from a mathematical concept. It was actually fine-tuned by physical use. So again, as someone was a certain distance from something, they would do the sighting, and then they'd go and see how far it actually was, and they go, oh, we were off by this much, which means the refraction means we'd have to correct for this much. And they put it all into the almanac. That's all it is.
A tangent is a straight line to a curve. That curve
Correct, yeah.
must be, if it is refracted, there is no straight line tangent. The line.
I'm sorry, but it's still flat. You can still have a tangent that is imaginary. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about refraction changing it because you are correcting for the refraction. And again, Dave, the tangent is imaginary.
I understand it's imaginary. Okay.
Now there you go then. So what's the problem? We can have an imaginary tangent to a curve all we like.
Say again?
We can have an imaginary tangent to a curve all we like. No problems.
You don't have a curve though. You have to have a geometric curve.
We literally do have a curve. Otherwise we wouldn't have to do these corrections.
You have a refracted curve.
What? Just because something's refracted doesn't mean it isn't there physically.
That means it's a bent line.
No, Dave, hold on. Just because something's refracted doesn't mean it isn't there physically. Those things are not exclusively mutual from each other, okay?
Are you kidding me right now?
Wait, so you're saying if something's refracted, it's not physically there?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying...
Right, okay, so if it's refracted, it's still physically there, otherwise it wouldn't be refracted.
Every time I speak, you cut me off. Right?
I'm sorry, I was in the middle of saying something, and it's still very hard to hear you, Dave.
Okay. If something is refracted...
Everything's refracted,
you don't have a straight line of sight to it.
And again, that's what the refraction corrections are for, to give you your flat line. That's why you do the refraction corrections. That's why it's part of celestial navigation, because refraction is happening when you look at the horizon. So you have to account for that.
But you guys use 7/6R.
Again, that's irrelevant to the Nautical Almanac's refraction correction tables, right? The refraction correction tables are a fine-tuned tool that have been created over centuries, and it just so happens that if you map out what it says, you get a curve.
Greg, you're trying to tell me that if something is refracted, you have a straight line of sight to it. No,
I'm not saying that. I am saying that you are correcting for the refraction to get your straight line. You only have that tangent, you only have that flat line after you have applied the refraction corrections.
Correcting
afterwards. Making a tangent that is flat, an imaginary tangent that is flat, yes.
You need a physical horizon to get to shoot it to.
Yeah, like, cool. The horizon is physical.
No, it's not.
Well, then how did we see it?
We don't see it.
Are you telling me we don't see the horizon, Dave?
You don't see a physical horizon.
You see the physical horizon. Its position has been refracted.
If it's refracted, it is not physical.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
If it is refracted, you're not looking.
Right, so are you saying that everything I see, because I'm wearing glasses that refract, Dave, right?
When I'm going to give you an example. Hear me out.
Okay, right.
You take a pencil, put a glass of water in front of it, and try to touch the refracted part of that pencil. You going to touch it? No.
If you put your finger into the water, yeah.
Craig?
But here's the thing, Dave. That refracted pencil, is that pencil still physical? Is it there in the first place?
But you don't have a straight line of sight to it.
Dave, come on. Be fair. I answered your question, right? That pencil that's refracted, is it still physically there? Yes or no?
You have a physical pencil, but you don't see it.
But you still have, but you still have a physical pencil, correct? Right? And if you knew the refractive conditions of the water, based on the temperature and density of it, then you could apply the corrections to see that it would be straight. The same that you do with the horizon. Yes, what you were looking at is the horizon being refracted, which is why you apply the refraction corrections to give you your straight tangent.
But no, if you're gonna shoot the horizon, you need that over 6R for terrestrial refraction. You don't have R value. We argued about this before. You also
what R value? What R value are you talking about?
The radius of the Earth.
Okay, well, you can actually backwards engineer the radius of the Earth from the refraction corrections.
How do you know that's?
How do you know what? Sorry, how do you know what?
We don't see physical Earth curvature.
Yeah, but we have quantified refraction so we can apply corrections to it so that we know what we should see, Dave. Right.
Craig, are boats looking over the horizon?
Sorry?
Our boats, when we're looking out, we're going to go something simple here for a second.
Are you changing the subject now, are you?
No, I'm going with the horizon still and refraction.
Okay.
But our boats, when we're looking out at boats from a beach, are we watching the boat go over a physical horizon?
If it's big enough, then the angular resolution is enough to see it as it gets far away, then yes, we are.
So,
which is why we get pictures like this, showing these boats partially obscured by the horizon.
So you and I are standing on the beach. We're looking at a boat, okay?
Yeah.
And it's disappearing bottom up.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going over a physical horizon?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But we can bring that back into view with
no, you can't.
There's hundreds of videos.
No,
showing
there is never ever a video that shows something that has disappeared bottom up coming back into view, and we discussed this last time, Dave. The only videos that apparently show things coming back into view is when the entire thing is too small to see and it comes back into view in one. It doesn't come bottom up. It just, as the angular resolution is enough, it resolves the entire thing. Once something has disappeared bottom first, it has never ever ever been brought back into view. And there's never been a video to show that, ever.
That is the Rayleigh criteria.
Yeah, exactly. And if we look at this, right, if we're talking about the Rayleigh criteria, right, that means we wouldn't be able to see any of the boat. Not the massive bits of it that we can clearly see with all the details still there. What we're showing here is that the bottom has disappeared first up, and the Rayleigh criteria doesn't say things disappear bottom first. The Rayleigh criteria says that things will disappear in totality at the same time.
Vertical and horizontal.
Yeah,
it could
not
be vertical or it could be horizontal.
No, the Rayleigh criteria says that something will disappear circles, together. It stops it being visible altogether. It's nothing about the Rayleigh criteria, Dave, says that something will disappear bottom up. Nothing at all.
They blend. It works vertically and or horizontal.
No, it works in circles.
So our eyes can't resolve it.
In totality, yes. But if we look at this picture here, if we look at the picture that I'm showing here, Dave, our eyes can clearly resolve the bottom of these boats, right? We can clearly resolve not only the bottom, but the top of these boats, right? There is no reason, the one on the right, that we wouldn't be able to resolve the bottom of this boat, yet we're able to resolve the top. Nothing about the Rayleigh criteria explains this picture. Nothing at all.
Oh, if it's further away, if that other boat on the right is further away.
But it's not further away, is it? And right now, where's the bottom of it? It's behind the curve of the Earth.
You can't tell the distance of any of those boats.
This picture was taken. This is a picture taken when they knew the distance of these boats. The one in the middle is 6.5 nautical miles away. The one on the left is 7.7 nautical miles away. The one on the right is 9.9 nautical miles away.
Exactly, it's further away than the others.
Yes. So where's the bottom?
Bottom up.
Yeah, now because it's gone over the curve, right? Yeah.
Not done. Go and grab a P900. And bring it
worst
back.
Camera in the world. Yeah, but that wouldn't be able to bring it back. A P900 would not be able to bring the bottom of this boat back.
There's videos.
I can prove that right now. If you give me 1 second to find a video.
I'll find a video too that shows a guy putting a camera right there on a flat table and moving a quarter.
Oh, the one with the camera half underneath the table. Yeah, that's a fantastic one that I've debunked already.
That quarter shouldn't disappear.
Well, it should, because half of the camera is under the table. So if half of the camera is under the table, then half of the coin is going to disappear as well.
Not but if the coin is in full view,
because it's closer at one point, yeah, but half of the camera lens is under the table. So as that coin moves away, half of the camera lens can no longer see that coin. But when you are looking at something at the horizon, half of your eyes are not buried in the sand. So that entire video is a hell of a straw man. Right? But I would like you to watch this video with me, Dave, if you just give me 1 minute, okay? And this is done with your favorite camera, the P900. Right? This is the guy called Dazza the cameraman, and he's at shore in Australia. And you just see there's some boats on the horizon here, okay? So zooming in. This is the P900, remember? Or maybe it's the P1000. It's one of the two. All right. So he's looking at these 3 boats that you can see there, and as he zooms, he wants to compare a portion of the ship that is visible above the horizon versus that which is hidden below the horizon. Okay? So zooms in a bit. Proportions remain the same as he zooms in. Proportions still remain the same as he zooms in. So he takes a screenshot of that one on the left. Okay? He's taken a screenshot of that boat on the left. Wait, Dave, hold on. I'm talking. Hold on. Right?
Clarify before you continue, Craig. You just said that the boats are proportional to each other. Yes?
No, I said the portions remain the same of each boat as he moves in. That's what I said. Right? So from this point to when he zooms in, the proportions above the horizon stay the same, right? So what he does is he takes a screenshot of the one on the left, okay? Seeing exactly how much of it is above the horizon, how much is below the horizon. And then continues to zoom in with the video. So let's let it play forward and we'll show you. He's talking right now, so but I'm not playing that. So then he's played the video forward and he's zoomed in some more as he's recording the video. And he's taken another screenshot as it moved forward, right? And then he compares the screenshots from when he was zoomed out to zoomed in. This on the bottom is the screenshot from when he was zoomed out with the camera. And at the top is the screenshot from when he was zoomed in with the camera. Even though we can see, because there's less detail on the one at the bottom, it was clearly further away, zooming in did not bring the bottom of either of these boats further above the horizon. The proportions stayed exactly the same. If your claim was correct, then as he zoomed in, all the boats on the left, its hull should have become available to see. It was not. Zooming in does not bring things back above the horizon that have already gone beyond the horizon. What do you think about that? Dave?
I'm losing you. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I don't know what you keep doing.
It was real choppy for some reason, Craig.
So did you get my explanation?
Barely.
Basically, as he zoomed in, it's got two screenshots on the screen, and it shows him zoomed out and then zoomed in, and they're exactly the same. Zooming in did not bring the boat back up above the horizon. That doesn't happen. And this was with a P1000. I'll just double check the... Yeah. Nikon P1000 with 125 times optical zoom. Right? So when he zoomed in, it made absolutely no difference to the amount of the boat above the horizon. So what do you say?
I don't know. I'm trying to look stuff up on my list.
Yeah, again, you've gone very quiet. Sounds like you've got the phone inside your mouth or something.
Yeah, I don't know, Craig.
I know, technology's hard, huh? So, I've got a few super chats, but I see one which is actually a very good question from Mr. EJ Wheeler, all right, £2, and he asks, Dave, could I still use a Sexton if I was standing on a beach ball?
You're standing on a beach ball?
Yeah, so let's say I'm in my ship, but in my ship I've got a beach ball, and I'm standing on that beach ball on my ship, taking my sextant reading. Is the sextant still going to work?
You're not going to get 90 degrees.
What? Oh, wait. So all of a sudden, because I'm standing on a beach ball, the sextant isn't working?
I don't understand what you mean by that. Is it some enormous beach ball that we use that you're talking about?
Yeah, it's just a normal beach ball, all right? But you're standing on it. You're balancing on top of this beach ball whilst sighting the horizon with your sextant. Is your sextant still going to give you an accurate reading if you're standing on a beach ball?
All it's doing is raising your height.
Yeah, but the surface of that beach ball's curved.
So what? Your feet are fucking conforming to it, and you're still standing upright. That's ridiculous.
But the surface of the beach ball is curved, right?
But you're not going to traverse the beach ball.
But that's what I'm on while I'm getting my reading. And also, you're not traversing the tangent that you make as well. That the tangent is imaginary, so you know.
Show me, but see, that's the thing. That's an idiotic question. That's just retarded.
Well, no, it raises the question of why can't I use a sextant if I'm standing on something that is curved?
First of all, give me 90 degrees from the sextant to that on that beach ball.
Okay, I just apply all the corrections I would normally apply.
Not gonna happen.
Oh wait, so I can't apply index correction, I can't apply dip correction, I can't apply all these things, is that right? Just because I'm standing on a beach ball, all of a sudden that stuff doesn't work, is that right?
Craig, is your ship gonna is that beach ball the land?
Well no, but neither is the tangent line that you create.
Craig, that's just, please, that guy weighs 2 pounds. He's retarded.
So you can use a sextant if you're standing on a curved surface then, right?
You're standing on a curved surface.
Yeah.
You're not it's not analogous.
It's very analogous. Because you are not using the surface of the Earth to get your sextant reading. You're using the horizon. Right?
What are you putting? You can't. Oh my God.
Is that true? Are you using the horizon, or are you using like the complete surface of the Earth? Which are you using?
Once again, if you're sitting in a dinghy and you're only fucking correcting for, say, 1 foot, okay? That proves that it's flat.
How does it prove it's flat if you're only correcting for 1 foot?
Because you have to have a flat baseline. You're not going to get a flat
again,
baseline.
that baseline is imaginary. It's a tangent.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Your baseline is an imaginary line between you and the horizon.
Surface. You keep saying a tangent to a curved surface.
Yeah, and right, here's something very interesting for you, right? When you use the dip corrections in the almanac, when you actually use the dip corrections in the almanac, right, and you backwards engineer it based on the maths in the almanac that you actually use, do you want to see what it maps out to? To this. This is what you get when you use the actual dip correction almanac and you backwards, engineer the maths. And you, based on the dip angle formula from the nautical almanac, 0.97 times square root of height of I in feet. If you map it out, this is what you get, a curve. This is what the dip correction is doing. It is giving you the difference between that curve and your tangent, which is here, right? So once you apply the dip corrections, you get this. Obviously, once you've done the refraction corrections as well.
You don't have a tangent.
Yes, you do. It's an imaginary. Stop telling me I can't have an imaginary thing.
You can't have an imaginary tangent. Oh, excuse me. You can't have a tangent to something that's not physical.
Again, the horizon is physical. We just see a refracted version of it.
Then we don't see it.
And let me again introduce you to the refraction correction table, which adjusts for the fact that the horizon is refracted. And is a calibration tool that has been used for centuries, so we know it is correct. It's just how it works, Dave. You can't do celestial navigation without these things. And you still haven't shown how there is a triangle.
You haven't. You see, the thing is, though, you guys correct everything flat. So you're using a flat Earth.
No, we're not using flat Earth. Just because we have a tangent doesn't mean we're using flat Earth.
That's why you guys use a celestial sphere. You cut the damn thing in half because you need the flat part of it.
No, again, there's nothing to do with a celestial sphere that is flat. A celestial sphere is concentric to a spherical Earth.
the celestial sphere, they cut the damn ball in half.
No, they don't. That's just a diagram that Nathan's misunderstood. The celestial sphere is concentric to a spherical Earth. It's nothing to do with flat.
What do you mean by concentric?
Concentric. That's right. Okay, let me. Are you telling me you don't know what concentric means?
I truly don't know what in.
If you have a big circle and then a little circle inside it, that big circle is concentric to that little circle. And the celestial sphere is concentric to the spherical Earth. That's part of its definition.
How do you have a circle of equal altitude then?
The circle of equal altitude is nothing to do with the celestial sphere.
But it has to do with celestial navigation, does it not?
Yeah, and the circle of equal altitude is what you get once you've calculated your distance to the GP, which is done with celestial navigation. But let me just quickly show you this so you can see, right? In astronomy and navigation, the celestial sphere is an abstract sphere that has an arbitrarily large radius and is concentric to Earth, okay? The only way that the celestial sphere can be concentric to Earth is if the Earth is also a sphere. So if you are using the celestial sphere, you are agreeing the Earth is also a sphere because it is concentric to Earth.
You know what, Greg? My phone, I can't do this. It's a mess. Friday, we're doing this again. Make sure I've got something in my hand.
Okay, do you have a laptop or something you could use instead? It would make it a lot easier.
I'm going to make sure of it, goddammit. I apologize to all your listeners. It's a big clusterfuck on my part. I'm truly sorry. It's just, frustrating. I'm sure for all.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to listen. But okay, we can rearrange and we can do it again on Friday when you got a better mic working. Same time, would that work?
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, Dave. I will see you on Friday, guys. You'll see Dave again on Friday as well. All right, so
yes.
cheers, Dave, for now. We'll finish this conversation on Friday, okay?
Sorry, everybody, for all the way it sounds and everything like that, Craig.
Right, no worries.
And I feel like the way we speak, even though we get heated with each other, it still is fun.
Yeah, I'm going to talk you through celestial navigation and we'll get that sorted, bud, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, speak to you soon. Well, one down. We're not done tonight, guys. I have another debate in about 30 minutes with Wendell Varner, so that's going to be fun. Yeah, it was a bit hard to do that with his mic not working properly, so we're trying to get the audio sorted, Flerfs and technology and all that. Tim Tully's been a member for 13 months. Guys, I know when you're a member and you do your member super chat, for some reason it always says 1 month, but that it shows up for me that you're a member for however months you actually are. So Tim Tully, who's been a member for 13 months, says, if you know the circumference of any sphere, you can determine the radius. What's the problem with Flerfs? That's a very deep question, Tim. A very deep question indeed. Hey, Rachbot, I'm glad to see you as well. Dale 1 for $2 points to square. Look at that triangle. Yeah. Apparently, guys, if you have a right angle, you automatically have a triangle. Apparently. Ida Pimp Upho became a new member. Thank you very much. Welcome to Scrappers. Connell Silverfur for $5 says, are any of us actually really surprised when the Flerfs cannot use the tech based on the globe they deny? Tech illiterate Flerfs are just a meme now. Yeah. Is that flashing red? Which one of you crazy bastards is doing that? Thank you. We've got Jumping is Useless for $20, who says, I did this in high school, genius. We literally measured the height of the rides using a tangent to the ground. If I did this at the age of 18, I'm sure you could do it now. You give Flerfs too much credit there, bud. Skid Mark McGee for $5, just for dealing with morons and bring us entertainment. I love the show. Well, I love you. I absolutely fucking love you. Mr. EJ Wheeler for $2. Dave with a Sexton work standing on a beach ball. Excellent question. I am stealing that. Adam, new member, welcome to Scrappers. Thank you very much. Connell Silverfur is the first person to gift memberships to my channel and has just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much. I think I saw that pop up and it told me who the members were. I can't scroll back that far. Cheers, Connell Silverfur. And if you became a member because of him, you say thank you to him as well. Indie Tiger Sci-Fi Review, $5. Blow his mind. Explain what a stadimeter is and how it can be used to determine distance to ships. Yeah, that goes against the Geneva Convention on Cruel and Unusual Punishment because it will make a Flerf's head explode. Tim Pryor, $5. I love how when you prove them wrong, they always have sound problems. Alison for $5, asking why Earth's curvature needs to be accounted for by something as simple as distance calculation. Yeah, they hate the Haberstein formula. Yeah. Adam, $1, no message, thank you. Tim Pryor, $5. Dude, seriously, stop repeating Oakley. You do not need a flat baseline because nothing on Earth is perfectly flat. Pay attention. Yeah, apparently, I can't have an imaginary tangent. No imagination for you. Bad, Craig. Theo Fungi for $5. Craig brought evidence. Dave brought a pillow for a mic. 100 Flerfs versus 1 light bulb. Put this money on the light bulb. 100%. Obi-Wan, who's been a member for 3 months, says, I've been a member for 3,493 months. His head exploded and he needed to go study. They don't do the study thing, actually. James Weber, been a member for 4 months, says, my head hurts. Sorry, not sorry. Rachbot, my favourite AI, says, is that an FTFE flag up on your curtains? I need one. No. That is something my mum made for me. And it's actually made out of thousands and, several thousand tiny little rhinestones. Little shiny diamond type things that they put on with this glue. It's a thing my mum's become obsessed with, doing pictures like that. So you get a picture, you send it off to this company. And you can just see on the left of it, there's like a little table. And for each colour bead they send you, they give you a corresponding point to put it on. So that actually is made from thousands of individual little beads that have been glued to that in the formula. It's quite impressive, right? Vincent Florquin for €49.99. You crazy motherfucker, thank you very much. He says, keep up the amazing work. I will. Absolutely. Got another debate tonight. And then tomorrow I will have an episode of Debate Shorts out. And then Friday I'll have another episode of Flerfs Are Idiots out. As well as another episode, another debate with Dave apparently. So there's that. Also tomorrow I may have 2 more debates. So don't worry. I'm doing lots. Thank you very much, everyone. That's amazing. And then we've got Lord Luminous Pooh, $5. I don't trust Hollywood. I think they're a bunch of paid actors. Oh, brilliant. And we got Truth Seeker 101, who's just become a new member, and Philosophy and Gaming, who has gifted 1 membership. That's amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that was Dave, not understanding session navigation with a very bad mic, and he'll be back on Friday, hopefully, with some better sound that we can go over. Sir, not appearing in this film, says for $2, I am not appearing in this live stream. No, you are not. You are absolutely not appearing in this live stream, Mr. Not appearing in this film. Just want to annoy Unirock a sec. Oh shit, sorry, I promised I never say his name. But you guys may have heard me talk about my Kickstarter that I've got coming up. And that's going to be launching in the next couple of weeks. I've been trying to get it perfect and make sure it's all set up. I'm going to be doing a live stream going over exactly what it's for. But I'll just give you a brief of what it's for. Over 2023, maybe the late end of this year and over the next year, I'm going to release 4 documentaries, 4 90-minute documentaries. Episode 1 is going to be about gravity. Episode 2 is going to be about how we know the Earth is rotating. Episode 3 is about a history of flight from planes to space flight, and episode 4 is about the future of technology. These documentaries are going to be, what I'm saying is, TV quality documentaries filmed out in the real world, talking to experts with a proper camera crew, etc. And what I'm planning requires a budget. And the Kickstarter is going to be for an amount which is probably going to annoy certain people, because to do what I want to do, it requires funds that I can't have, but it's all for the channel. And the amount the Kickstarter is going to be for is £25,000. And I know that sounds a lot, but it's not for me. None of that money is going to me, for paying my bills or anything. All of that money is going to be for the 4 documentaries that I'm making throughout the 12 months. Kickstarter rewards are going to be things like being an executive producer of the documentaries. Specific merch for the documentaries that only you guys can get. Maybe even being involved in it in some of the ways that we can come up with. But I know it sounds like a lot, right? But you think I'm making 4 90-minute documentaries that, if you were, say, the BBC, each one of those documentaries, you'd have £150,000, £200,000 to make those documentaries. I want to make 4 documentaries, full-on documentaries, with £25,000. And that's what the Kickstarter is going to be for. And I'm hoping the community is going to support it. I'm going to look for funding in other places than just the community. But like I said, this isn't money that will be. It's not going to be going into my PayPal. It's not going to be money that I'm just using for every single penny from the Kickstarter will be from making the documentaries that I'm going to make. I know it's going to have some people in YouTube go crazy, calling me a scammer and a fraudster and stuff, but it's all going to be done in the most legitimate way that I can think. Mandevil says, basically 4 movies, FTFE, £25,000 pounds is very modest, but you're going to go over. I may go over the budget. I mean, obviously I'm going to have stretch goals and stuff. If more comes in and fun, the Kickstarter probably won't close down even once if the goal is reached. That doing what I do isn't cheap. I managed to do all the production, everything that I do, all the graphics that I do on practically 0 budget. But I want to take that up. I want to give you guys the best kind of content that I possibly can, and I hope you understand that. I'm not just going to be begging for money. Again, it's not money for me, it's money to make these 4 documentaries. And I hope you guys will support it. But anyway, I'm going to head off now. I'll be back in 20 minutes with debate number 2 for tonight, which is going to be with Wendell Varner. Vincent Florquin says, €4.99, reach out to me, Craig, for funding. You have my Discord. Vincent, that's amazing. Thank you very much. But I want all funding for it to go through the Kickstarter. I don't want people sending me like money through PayPal or anything like that. If you want to support it, it's amazing. But I want it all done through the Kickstarter. I don't want there being bits of funding this way, bits of funding that way, PayPal, etc. It will all be through the Kickstarter. So thank you very much, Vincent. I will reach out to you, and I'll let you know the Kickstarter details as soon as that's available. William Furley for $5 says, I'll support you if you do a scene standing in a field wearing a white butcher's smock. Yes, I am doing that. Edison Carter says it's an investment, not e-begging. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to see it like that. But some people are going to see it as begging, but I'm not. Because it's not money for me. I'm raising money to do a specific thing. And I hope it turns out the way that I want, because I've got some exciting plans, things that I've been organising just in advance, so I'm going to be using the old Dunfermline Fire Station, which is now an art museum. I'm going to be using the old fire tower to do my own Falcott's pendulum experiment at the same time as people around the world doing it. I'm going to be doing, for the gravity one, I'm going to be working with physics students at the engineering students at the University of Edinburgh, and we're going to be building a vacuum chamber that inside the vacuum chamber has a Faraday cage, that inside the Faraday cage has a mini Cavendish. I'm going to be working with some pretty large YouTube celebrities, Kyle Hill, and there's going to be a lot. It's going to be, it's all kind of pie in the ideas right now, but getting the Kickstarter and the funding is the first stage of actually getting that going. Anyway, I will see you guys in about 20 minutes. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the super chats. Come back and enjoy a new debate soon. But remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat. 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 Fight. Night, y'all. See you in a bit.